dreads came from my neck yesterday. And it all started when I decided to create a quick 6 seconds TikTok video responding to a comment that someone left on one of my YouTube channel videos, and where this person was reacting to something I had said in the commentary about solutions, right? Options and stuff for the future. And the person said, that's not going to work. And you don't know it's not going to work. And then they were saying immigrants like JJ don't understand. And that's where I kind of cut off. I didn't even read the rest of their comments. I was like, what immigrants like JJ don't understand? What are you talking about? And the fact that they say like JJ makes me feel like they know or they're not new to my channel. So I was like, I'm going to respond to that. I took a little offense to that. So responding to someone saying immigrants like JJ, and to me, immigrants like JJ are immigrants who are black, because I'm a black immigrant, who came to the United States when they were like a child, like I was almost 4 years old, so I was a little kid. And essentially, I'm an acculturated Black American. So most of my experiences are Black American. And in my mind, in my experiences, I'm like a Black American. I've defended myself as an acculturated Black American in every respect all the time to my immigrant parents and immigrant families who do not understand or appreciate the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears of the sacrifice of the forefathers of the African Americans who were the blueprint for resistance movements, from the civil rights movement to Black Power movement to every single thing. Like every single person who's ever had a cause where they're oppressed or marginalized people who rally, whether it's the workers union, whether it is a suffragist movement, whether it is Stonewall and it's the LGBTQIA community, whether it's migrants, whether it's immigrants, whether it's veterans' rights, every single thing started from modeling the resistance movements of Black people. My people, I'm thinking, that's me. What do you mean immigrants like JJ? So in response to my 6 second reel, I screenshotted the comment, I put a caption, and I said, I've been here a long time. In the caption, I mentioned the fact that not only have I studied, am aware, can read, see music, movies, and stuff like that, and much aware, but also personally, having lived here since like 1979, I've actually experienced it, before people who were actually real true African Americans, and I said, who? Oh, like the millennials, like all of them. I was thinking, let me go back to millennials. That was my mistake number one, because cultural wars are a thing, but also generational wars are a thing. And as a member of the Gen X delegation, we are the forgotten generation. So when the boomers and the millennials are fighting, we're just like on the side looking back and forth and mm, we're just observers. And when the millennials are beefing with the Gen Zers, or when the Gen Zers are beefing with the alphas, no one talks about us, and we really don't care. We're just in our own world. So that was my mistake, as I mentioned it. In my mind, to me, using them was like a cute way of, instead of saying like, let's say you had you discover a bakery, and you was like, oh my God, this is so great. And you tell like an older neighbor or your aunt or your mom, I just discovered this great bakery. And your mom, your aunt, your older neighbor tells you, girl, you just discovered it. I've been going to that bakery before you were even born. You were like, oh, for real, word, that's it. That is what it's like. And to be responding to my personal experience, that someone's calling me personally out and saying, well, I've been here for a long time before most people even here. So I know, I'm aware of it and I've experienced it. Folks came for me and they took it personally. And I was like, on my page, they were like, someone even said this morning, like, well, you need to just edit your caption, like edit the caption of my response of my video. What are you saying? It was like, and eventually today I archived it because I was just tired. I wasted a lot of time yesterday going back and forth with people unnecessarily. It was a waste of time. I normally don't do that. Every single quarter, I tell myself I'm never going back and forth with people about something that's irrelevant. I'm just going to mute it and move on, or archive the topic because it's not worth it. I really don't care. It's really stressful because it's kind of like, it's a lighthearted thing, and y'all took a lighthearted little quip, and it's only the people in threads, because only a few people on Instagram like clap back, but I shared it on Substack, TikTok, YouTube, like, oh, that's so cute. Yeah, they better recognize. That's it, because it's just really innocent and innocuous, like no big deal. And the comments, by the way, I said it's instructive. Let me share. So the commentary came in 3 different formats, and I wanted to share with you because normally I would just go about my day. I had legal L's to do. I had to do some errands for my mom. I'm trying to get my daughter to graduate, so there's a lot of things I need to do to prepare for her graduation dinner and the graduation week. I have some, lots of things to do. And I had done a full video responding to it, and then I end up changing the video after this morning and kind of realizing what the thing is, and I'm better able to categorize and deconstruct and unpack what happened. And the categories of responses were in 3. The first was people who said to me, it could have been the same person, like, yeah, okay. And I feel like they believed they needed to, like I was one-upping them, but I was using my age. I was weaponizing my age by me saying I was here before you. Like, oh, you were here before me. Well, how about, not that deep. Someone was like, well, did you have your mother and your mother's mother and your mother's mother and all sorts of things tell you down through oral histories the stories? Yeah, it's not the same. You might have lived before me, but you don't have the oral histories of being an African American, a true one. I was like, oh my God, I love oral history. I'm a fan of oral history. I believe that every single person, if you have an elder relative, you need to get a tape recorder or use your phone and sit down and let them tell you stories. Because when they go, that's it. Those stories go with them. So yeah, I love that. I was like, yeah, girl. Oral history. No, I don't have it, but I love that for you. And then other people, the second category is folks who are saying, okay, well, girl, you might be okay. Black Americans, you Africans and you Caribbeans come to our country, look down on us, think you guys are better than us, separate yourself from us, and then the white people treat y'all better than us. And yeah, and I'm just like, yes, that sucks. First of all, I don't think that's all, but I know people like that. I have relatives like that, and they suck ass for that but for the sacrifices of African Americans through the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, you wouldn't be able to do all the things you'd be able to do. The resistance blueprint is Black people liberation in this country. And from watching what Black Americans were able to accomplish, despite being oppressed, despite being like actively marginalized, they accomplished a lot. And every time built independent, self-sufficient communities that were thriving, and shut it down. So I'm always evoking the name of Black Wall Street, of Rosewood, of Greenwood, Tulsa. I'm like prideful, like that's it. It wasn't me, but it's like, so don't mess with us and recognize that's me. So that's why I'm stuck on the fence. Like, no, not Africans, not immigrants like me. Because at some point today, someone said, of course they would come from an immigrant. So it's kind of like, there you go, generalizing. Okay. So that's true. Those people exist, and I don't like them. And it's not everyone, because remember, Stokely Carmichael, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X is of a foreign parentage. So is Barack Obama. And there's a thing as Pan-Africanism. So Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela. There are scores of people not born in the United States, but all about liberation of Black people wherever they are. So you don't have to be from here to be about wanting good for y'all. So yeah, I get it. There's no competition, because someone said this morning, oh, it's like an oppression Olympics. It's like, no, I just talk about personal experience, and y'all jumping in, taking it kind of way and making it a competition. I didn't make it a competition. You did on my post. So that was the second category. And then there was the final ones, which I was like, I'm gonna have to talk to these folks. The people say that you couldn't fully, thoroughly experience it. Even if you experience it, your experience aren't truly authentic, and it's not genuine, and it's not real. It's like you didn't really have the real lived experience as us. So keep our name out of mouth. It's not authentic. It's not real. You need to have the generational trauma in order to really know how it is to be Black in America. If you don't have that generational connection, then your experience is not real. Like denying my actual lived experience without even knowing my actual lived experience, and I was like, I was once like you guys when I was young and thought I knew something and went to school and got educated. And I like to school people and tell people stuff like that, not really knowing or being aware if they knew what I was teaching them, if they asked for what I was teaching them. And then a lot of people were like lecturing, talking down to me I was like, okay, go ahead, speak your piece, but you don't know me. So let me use this opportunity to share some of my lived experiences for you, not to bring it down, not to like, just give you some context. I feel like a context at least. So when I was like 7 years old, we went to a water park. I lived in DC. I lived in a red-lined neighborhood. We didn't have the same services and access and options as people who lived in communities in the suburbs of North Bethesda, Potomac, Maryland, Chevy Chase, Northern Virginia, Alexandria. They had all of the best services, and these communities, these parks, these stores, these restaurants, when they went to open, they never came to our community. We were redlined. So redlined, check. At some point, my DC public summer camp went to a pool, I think it was like Six Flags. And so friends of mine would go up the water slide, we come down. It was so fun. We're going back up for our next trip, and a group of white boys, including one biracial kid, we were like, oh, these little N-words want to get around. And we stopped and we're looking at them. Me personally looked at them like, wow, you know what? I still feel like this way. I feel sorry for you that you feel like you need to use those words to talk down on us, to feel better about yourself. Like, that's really pathetic. Like, I was thinking that as a 7-year-old, I was thinking that, like, damn, that sucks. And it was interesting. So call the N-word as a child, check, Black experience. Then fast forward several decades, I get married, I have a young family. My son's 6 months old. We go to a Caribbean festival in Baltimore. We're having a nice time. At some point, Baltimore Vice Squad comes to shut down the vendors that are selling counterfeit goods. My husband, who was a law student at the time, thought he can go up to the police officer, the nice police officer, and say, hey, there's that elderly woman there sitting on her knees. Can you get her a chair so she could... The officer, we didn't know at the time, was like a rogue officer. He was like a dirty cop. Like, he had a long rap sheet of being brutal. He shoved my husband. So my husband's like, what? Again, being a young law student, thinking he knew something, was like, let me write down your badge number. You don't ask a cop who's rogue for a badge number. They all just start pummeling him down. He's all bruised up. They throw him in the paddy wagon. Eventually, we sued, we settled, but police brutality, check. Later on, I ended up working at a big law firm. The big law firm has a retreat, or has like an event at a nice country club, like over in, I think it was like, somewhere out in the suburbs. Really, really nice, elegant place. As I'm leaving, whoop, 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 driving while black, check. I've had a couple of those. I've been followed in stores. I remember a couple of incidents, and also had that second-class treatment. My husband and I was going in to buy his first suit at Jose Bank, and there was an Indian. That's why people be like, people of color drop that. That's why people say BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color. We're different people. Indian guy sees us. My husband says, where are the suits? He said, here's the double-breasted, here's these suits, good for you. We're looking for it on our own. A white couple, the woman is dressed like me. The man is just like my husband. We're identical. He bending over backwards, showing them all these things, and we're looking like, God damn it. My husband till today regret the fact that he purchased that suit from Jose Bank. He should have walked out. The white couple never paid for it. I had a couple of experiences at a mall, in the affluent malls, always these affluent areas in DC. It was White Flint Mall. I go to a kiosk to buy an ice cream. Back then, sometimes they ask you for your ID. So I buy a $3.99 cup of ice cream, and the guy asked me for my ID, which is weird. I'm saying, okay, I'll give it to him. And I said, wait a minute, hold up. There's a long line of people. Let me see if he asked the next white person who's paying for a credit card for their ID. And of course he didn't. So I looked at the guy. I was like, don't forget to ask her for her ID. In that same mall upstairs, they used to have like realtor kiosks where you can go in and look at homes. And so we looked at some houses, and they had like the little pictures of the houses. The guy who was manning the kiosk just saw me, didn't come up. A white woman comes up, he pops up and asks all these questions. At that time, I was a law firm. My husband was a law firm. We were making like double six figures or something like that. The woman says, no, I can't pay for this. I'm a teacher. I can't afford this. But she got all that service, just like the white couple got all that service at Jose Bank. So second-class treatment in a black country which black people built, check. When we first purchased our first home, we found out later on that the interest rate we were charged compared to another white couple of our profile was higher. So housing discrimination, check. My husband was denied a job because they told him the last black person they hired came late all the time, and because he lives far, not quite sure he'll be able to come on time. So employment discrimination, check. So to say that you can't possibly have had a lived black experience and know what it's like to be black in America is bullshit. Anyway, that's it. That's my stories. JJ Legal, each one teach one. I'm not messing with y'all millennials or Gen Z. No more generation wars for me. I'm good.